How's everybody doing? Good evening on this Sunday evening. Well, I took a couple of days, taking care of things, the mundane, relaxing, also meditating, taking care of some downloads, which I'll be giving this week, beginning today. Um, I have been talking a lot about, um, the soul, and we are God in human form, and also the solar system itself is a living body, right? And then we have the cosmos itself is a living being. So it's like we have a womb within a womb within a womb within a womb, right? Right. So one of the obvious way that you can prove that, and this is something that Jesus had said in the book of Matthew, right, in the Gospels, that the kingdom of God is inside you. Um, the kingdom of God here is being referenced to the entire cosmos, okay? Not just our solar system with our particular star, but the entire cosmos. But you can also make that same reference to the solar system and then eventually to us humans and other living forms or life forms that reflect the spirit or soul of the creator. You know, a duck may not look like the creator, or a cat might not look like the creator, but then again, he might. No, we have many extraterrestrial beings, fairies, nature spirits that have all kinds of appearances. We even got fairy unicorns and dolphins. They're real. These are real beings, They're not fairy tale, So we are living in a planet that has all kinds of living essences here. Uh, Occultists call it life wave. Humans have a particular life wave. Animals have a particular life wave. Plants and trees, and of course insects, and of course the invisible world of the microorganisms or protozoans. Okay? These are all different realities, right? And somehow or another, they reflect the creator, right? Uh, and that means two arms, two legs, a head, and a torso. But that may be the outer scribbling. What's the same is the soul essence that is inside the physical form, for us particularly. For other types of forms, it might not be carbon matter. It might be some other substance that we don't know, we're not familiar with. And since somehow, which is at the moment outside of our intellectual understanding, also resembles the essence of God and the body of God. Well, I'm going to show you today how that verse, the kingdom of God is inside you, actually is empirically correct, right? It is not just allegorical or symbolic. It literally is true. We are ourselves built of not just carbon matter, but all the other types of matter that's not just carbon, that connects to other realms and other dimensions and other realities, as a skeletal framework. On top of that, then we have been given free will for us to create our own bubble of reality, whether that's centered on the shadow, the lower self of the ego, or that's centered towards spirituality and aiming towards the higher ego, or walking with the essence of God. In any event, they both represent the same template of the creator as being a huge body mass, like space. And you go out there and you look at the blackness of space, you don't see anything but blackness. And you can say to yourself, if there are life forms in other solar systems. What about the in between, the blackness of space? What does that define? I mean, that's another canvas, but that in itself also is a living being. It's a living essence. It's a womb. And the same can be said of our Earth, and even down on the ocean floor, things can birth forward. Okay? So let's, without further ado, let me turn to the board or I simulated a board that I made where I'm going to explain to you in a little more detail because knowledge like this has to be given in piecemeal, right? So like that, the collective can absorb it and better understand it, right? Uh, and the reason why I decided to uh, give you this download was because a lot of it has to do with, the spell work and the attacks to people and the energy harvesting. It truly has gotten out of hand for many, many people. There's been a paradigm shift, and things are going for the better, but they're actually going to get a lot worse globally before they get better. Of course, this comes with any major change of an epoch or an age. One second. Okay. So, an example of why it is a waste of time and energy for someone to have low self esteem, not feel good about themselves, or not feel validated by either someone or something. You know, um, lack of confidence is a real soul killer. And this is the one vehicle that we've been given through the higher self, the human will, for us to actually co-create just like the creator does. No, but like the creator doesn't lack in confidence. No, but okay, okay, everybody. I had to do one of them prayers, and ring the bell. Yeah. And whatever it was, return to sender. Is what you do. All right. It is crazy. Yeah. So yeah, so I was saying that it's a waste of time to feel insecure or to feel that you can't do anything because literally we are limitless to what we can do. You know, uh, we definitely were able to be as gods in epochs long past. And we've forgotten, and when we reincarnate, we don't remember, the greatness that we were, unless, we're going spiritually and tune into our cache records. Well, some of you may not be ready to access that, but you will still get downloads in other ways, and give you the history of your own soul, going back to the divine spark, even if necessary. My point is that, do not get caught up in life's dramas because we're supposed to have fun and enjoy the journey. It is a journey, not a destination. No, because if you want to aim towards a destination and don't have fun in the way, which is the journey, then you're gonna feel a deep sense of dissatisfaction and incompleteness when you get to the finish line. Because then, how are you going to assess what you've been through and what you've done and what you've progressed and what you've obtained and learned if we don't stop to smell the roses and if we don't stop and reflect on the things that happen to us? Again, the ultimate reason why we're going through this soap opera, no one really knows. No one really knows, and I don't know how we're going to take these experiences to benefit us wherever we're going. These are all mysteries. But it seems that while we're trying to figure out this mystery, we should take life's throes with a grain of salt, and learn self mastery, emotional self mastery, so you can bob and weave the winds of change that can sometimes bring the wheel towards a negative experience and sometimes towards a positive experience. Okay? It's all part of the design. All right. So, without further ado, let's try this again, and let me turn towards the front here. Uh-huh. Let's see. Right here. Right here. Let's explain what that is. First of all, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the camera this way. See? Can I do that? Yeah. Okay. This here is the tree of life. And I know that I've probably shown it to you guys many times before, but this is a little, but here we're going to go a little more detail as to how this can actually, not only does it tell you the grand design in matrix, it also gives you the blueprint of God and also of ourselves within it. There's about 5 diagrams in one here. First of all, the first diagram is the positions of the planets, right? Uh, the positions of the planets in the tree of life resembles the relationship that the gods have to each other. Okay, and it also tells you the story of the gods and how they came to be and ended up uh, taking charge of our solar system by each god ruling a particular aspect of the solar system or of the earth. Okay, um, if you go up here, above here is the void, right? It is the part where the gods reside that is hidden from us, right? Then you have the Big Bang, the birth of creation, pa 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 pa. Then comes the formation of our solar system. Now, as you know, here we have Uranus as Kether. Uranus was the first of the gods. And then he had an eldest son, Saturn. Notice that Saturn is black. Yeah. Okay. Saturn commits patricide and kills his own father. This is the first evidence of patricide. Why did this happen? Nobody knows. Right? And here we have Neptune, which is a chokma. So we have Kether, chokma, bina. Right? This here, there are two pillars here. These two pillars represents the pillar of severity. So here is where the stern and not so nice gods reside. And then you have over here the pillar of mercy, where you have the good gods or act in a way that's interventive when things get out of hand. And then we have the middle pillar, which creates a counterbalance of both the negative and the positive forces. And it is anchored on the consciousness of moral self love, which connects to the sun, Tipereth, okay, in the middle pillar. Love heals all things, and love holds all things together, which is why you see that you have the lines here supporting the other sephiroths, and then you have them pointing down. We have the moon, which has no light. It acts as a satellite, and it bounces the rays of the sun to the earth, giving it an illusion that the moon has light, but it doesn't. This illusion is represented by the shadow of mankind, right? And then we have the earth, and the earth represents the ego. So the ego, the lower ego, and the shadow create a holographic field, which duality and polarity now begins to exist. Okay? Now, here also we have the relationship. For example, we got Mars and we have Jupiter. Well, you know that Jupiter is the father of Aries. Jupiter has two daughters. He has two daughters and a son, Aries and Psyche, and I forgot who the other one was. So that's that relationship here. Now, Mars is the god of war and bloodshed, which is why he's red. Okay? At some point during the formation of our solar system, Mars was down here, and it did not work very well for the evolution of the Earth. It was too violent. The archons here were too violent and too unevolved. So eventually, when the solar system got the formation that it is today, Mars was placed higher, and its energy trickles down through Mercury. Mercury and Mars also have a mythological connection together, for it is Mercury who rescues Aries. Okay, so that's that connection right there. Right? And then of course, because God is Mars is the god of war, and he's completely untamable energy. So his father Jupiter has to take rings, but also Saturn also takes ring, takes both major gods to control Mars. Right. Now here in between, we have the sun, which gets light and nourishment to all of the planets and plays neutral territory. So here we have the higher consciousness of the gods, but the gods can also get lower and go into their own shallow side and descend down. Just like man can live a holographic existence of falsehood, but he has the opportunity to leave the duality behind and also move towards the sun, so going from bad to good, the gods good to bad, and bad to good. So again, this is the another form of polarity, this time expressed by the gods, and because we were made in their image, we also have polarity. Okay, the pillar of severity and the pillar of mercy are both poles that also represent polarity, but only in principle. In principle, there's no polarity among the gods. This is only in principle because that becomes then the counterpart of action of the actual polarity that is created by the moon and the sun and the earth. Right? So here we have the concept of polarity. Here it is expressed in actual action. Right? So this is expressing to you that just the gods have a higher nature, but they can also have a lower nature, which is reflective of the lower nature of humanity through their own delusions that casted by the moon through its holographic illusions. Okay, but man also has the opportunity and the ability to ascend from his lower nature to his godlike status. Now, if you turn and look at this in another way, doesn't this look like an obelisk? You have the bottom, which is squared, and you have the pyramid pointing upwards. It looks like an obelisk. So the tree of life can also represent or might have been an obelisk as an original concept, right? Which is why every nation has an obelisk point of stillness or point of center. We also have the same point of stillness and point of center. Okay. Now, we're talking now as the bodies of the planets and their interrelationship with each other. The colors correspond to the type of energy that they correspond to, and they also reflect the seven colors of the rainbow, the seven rays that embody the seven other bodies, right? So the rainbow is here too. You know, it's a key. Right? Now, if we want to look a little, uh, now we're going to switch to man. This could be the body of a man, right? With the earth being the ego, which is why it's brown, the moon representing the shadow, because it is a body that has no light and casts a shadow, right? And that's the holographic illusion. And then you have the sun, which reflects the higher self. So you have the lower self, which is the ego, which is the earth level. Then you have the shadow, which is the moon. Then you have the higher self. And then from the higher self, you have the sage. Notice that there is a large gap between the higher self and the sage. That's because it takes multiple lifetimes, multiple incarnations to perfect the lower natures and to perfect the human nature for you to be able to reach divine status as a sage, a teacher, a seer, or a divine healer of the ages. Okay, this takes experience. This gap here is a symbol of experience, which is the soap opera down here, right, of life. And once you go through many, many wheels of reincarnation to learn all that it is to be human, you leave or you get an upgrade and you move towards the sage. Okay, and those are your gurus, your shamans, and very high spiritualists. Okay, now if we're gonna go again and make reference to the universe, okay, aside from our solar system, aside from the planets, aside from us as a template model of this tree of life, we can also see the totality of all of the cosmos encapsulated in this one key. Okay? Here you have what's called the seven heavens: the first heaven, the second heaven, the third heaven, the fourth heaven, the fifth heaven, and the seventh heaven down below, the world of polarity and duality. Right. Now, these are very, very, very complex um, truths that takes time to decode it, to explain it to you in its proper language and syntax. But it's very heavy. It's very heavy. But it also, in a nutshell, they represent different worlds of their own in which the seven bodies of the human aura, which encapsulates the physical body, happen to sojourn and travel to these dimensions in these heavens where they get their nourishment, their information, their power, to then later, usually in the waking state, going back to the physical body to provide some kind of information, knowledge, nourishment, or what have you. And that's just one example. There's hundreds of other examples and a multiplicity of information, deeply complex concerning these heavens. Yeah. Then we have here in the middle, you see the space, right? These are different levels of spaces. These are multiverses. Here we have one universe. Here we have another universe and another universe. Just like you look at the blackness of space outside, well, it's not just one big body. No, we are part of many different spaces with billions and billions or trillions of stars each. Okay? We, of course, have no idea what lies in these universes because we don't even know what lies in our own um, galaxy, which is the Milky Way. And that has trillions and trillions of stars. Okay? And we only know of ourselves to exist, supposedly. So in between here, spaces is another form of dimension and reality that is very poorly understood. We don't understand this, and we don't know what lies in those dimensions. Okay? But we also know that just like we have the black matter and the scaffolding of the universe, this also has a scaffolding over dark matter, but we don't know what it is. It is still very poorly understood. So there are many, many universes. It's just ad infinitum. And there's seven universes and then seven sub-universes and seven more and seven more and seven and seven. So it's just an infinite dimensional realities and planes because like Jesus said, and my father has many mansions. There are many mansions. These are all codes and inscriptions that are making reference to this. But Jesus could not openly, flat out say it because again, he was being persecuted by both the Jews and the early Christian church. Right? So this had to be cloaked. Okay? So this here just shows you the key of the totality of what's contained in the cosmos, the universe, our solar system within us, and the planets. The same code is expressed. Now, how do we know? How can we prove that this same model that you see here of the cosmos, the universe, is us in human form? Is by looking at this. You see this? That's man. We have the bottom here, right? The triad with the sun and the moon. Well, we got the solar plexus, just like we have a solar center, and the solar system is our solar center. We have a solar center, the navel. So does God. Right? We are made of the same image. This is us. So all these universes and all these mysteries and dimensions that we see here is also inside us. Okay? Here we have the sensuality, which is the lower ego, right? The root and sacral chakra. And then we have personal power, right? We got personal power, which is the solar plexus, the belly. And then we got the heart. See, this is shaped, his chest is shaped like a heart. Okay, and here's the heart essence. And then, of course, the head represents wisdom. Now, this is a woman. This is not a man. Because even this shows that early man was a hermaphrodite, both man and woman. It was a woman with a penis and a vagina. God separated the sexes and took Adam out of Eve. In doing that, Adam develops the scrotum, which then also grows with the penis. And the penis that the woman has reduces in size and becomes the clitoris. So the clitoris is the penis in the early anthropological history of man's morphology. And then she has a vagina. Today, she only has the clitoris as the symbol reminder that it was once a penis when humans were in the hermaphroditic stage. And this is why women can have both clitoral orgasm or vaginal orgasm or both, what have you. And it also shows the power of the female, both as a human and as a concept of creation in itself. So here we see the same embodiment of mankind. Okay? All righty. All righty. Okay, everybody. That is one thing that I wanted to show about this tree of life. I encourage you guys to read more about it, and I have a lot more in details on my website, thepeoplesastrology.com, and also my thesis papers that I wrote from Colombia is on medium.com, and I talk more in detail about it. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed it. There'll be a lot more coming. Please donate. Please give. 347-485-6258 on the Zelle or Cash App Fernando, FERNA number 5 NDO. And of course, you can always call for a reading, 281-690-8825. Yes, I know I'm tired. I haven't slept much. I've been doing a lot of work, a lot of projects. So thank you guys very much. I will be doing another video in Spanish, and then probably another download, and then do some reading. I miss doing the readings. Okay, guys, thanks so much. I hope this helped.